Are you tired of not feeling like you're that bitch? Well, you've come to the right place. Welcome to the podcast, That Bitch Energy, where we're all about tuning in to your highest self and growing presence, awareness, and consciousness while keeping it all fun, relatable, and grounded. Let's get into this next episode and embody that bitch energy from within.
Ain't nobody seen a bitch like me. I'ma come up on ya. Ain't nobody.
Welcome back to another episode of That Bitch Energy, the podcast. Today's guest is Dakota, whom I met in my embodiment coaching certification with Sahara Rose, and me and Dakota have become really good friends ever since then. We practiced coaching in pods together for many times, and we even became we just stayed in touch with one another ever since then. And I just have to say, I'm so excited to have her on this podcast. Dakota is a podcast host herself, embodiment coach as well, dancer, spiritual girly goddess, and I'm just so excited to have her on here. So everybody, welcome Dakota to That Bitch Energy, the podcast. I'm so excited for this episode. Welcome, Dakota, to That Bitch Energy, the podcast. I couldn't be more excited to have you here. And thank you for, before this, joining me on a triple E method embodiment practice. Thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm so excited. I feel like we haven't got to chat in a while, so I know this is going to be a really good one. And yeah, I just love to be in your presence and be in your spaces always. I'm so glad that we met on this journey together.
Likewise, I feel that so good, so deeply as well for you. My first question, I love to start my podcast question with, when do you feel most aligned with your highest, truest self, which I like to call that bitch energy?
Yes. I will say when I'm in my body and I'm out of my head, when I'm really able to tap into, the sensations that arise within my body and just really take a moment to be with this vessel, with, this. I feel like a lot of times we don't think the body as something as important as like the mind or our spirit, but the body controls so much of what we hold and has the ability to allow us to fully step into who we want to be in our lives. And so just really being in the body, being connected to source, because I feel like that's when you're really connected to source is when you're in your body. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm sure you feel similarly with that, with all of the work that we've been doing around really getting connected to our bodies. So yeah, I just love to be here and present as well, present with my family, present with people around me, present in all areas of my life, nature, and again, back to the body, right? Presently in my body.
Yes, I can totally relate to that. That's why when we did our practice before this, I felt like, I needed that because I was kind of like getting things together. I was like, so that keeps me in my head when I'm like kind of rushing to get to something. So grounding, I can relate to that as well. Thank you for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, how do you, when you notice you're not in your body, you're not grounded, you don't feel in tune with source, goddess, divine consciousness, how do you get yourself back there? Is there like a special magical tool? Is there like one thing you love to do? Is there multiple things? I'd love to hear how you get back to your body.
Yeah, I think first and foremost, right, you have to be aware of when you're not in your body. And I think sometimes we don't even know that, right? We use social media to scroll, or we use TV to watch, or we even do things like cleaning a whole bunch. And, you're really still in your head in those moments. So when you become aware that you are not, in your body, when I do, the first thing that I like to do is literally close my eyes, place hands over my heart, taking deep breaths, and really just tuning into my body and listening to what comes up for me. I love to do the triple E method, but this is such like a quicker way that I've really developed on this journey, and just like really tapping in, listening to everything that is coming up for me, and then tuning into the body and seeing where am I feeling that? Am I feeling that somewhere, or am I not? Is it just a moment for me to really listen? And maybe I realize it's the little girl in me who needed some love and affection, and who needed just some, needed someone to be there for them. And so I give her the validation, the recognition, the empathy that she is needing. And then I will dance, or I'll sing, or sometimes hum, or I'll tap, or I'll do breath work. It really just depends on what feels good for me in that moment. Or I'll even go out in nature and just literally sit outside in the sun. I feel like the sun always gives me energy and always helps me come back to my body and back to a more grounded space. And so, yeah, that's mainly what I do. I love to dance too. So if I know I'm very much in my head and I could just go into dancing, you can really do any type of thing that makes you grounded, really what makes you feel here, present, and good. And so for me, it is dancing. It is the Triple E method. It is just working with different parts within myself, or yet again, just being present with my daughter, because I feel like she is such a reflection to me of what I may have been needing at that time in my life. So she's 2. So I'm like, man, when she has a tantrum that I am not able to hold very well, I realize that it's because during that time of my life, my parents were able to hold it for me. So it's just a deep reflection for me to tune into that moment and get present.
Oh, your daughter is so gorgeous. I see
Thank
you
you so
guys are
much.
taking classes together. I
Yes.
thought that was the cutest thing ever. She's so special, I could tell. I mean, a pure little angel in your life, I'm sure.
She is. She is. I love her
Oh,
so much. And we just started taking ballet classes. She is too. So it's more so mommy and me. We're both doing it together. Next year she'll be able to kind of, fly out the nest a little bit. I'll be able to just watch her. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. She is everywhere in the class. All of the moms are like, oh my gosh, she's so outgoing. She's just a little social butterfly. I'm like, my partner's like, I wonder where she gets that from. I'm like, yeah, I know, it's me. Because he's very shy and quiet pretty much, unless he's pretty quiet into himself, not really around his family, of course, but with new people. So with me, I'm very like, I'll talk to whoever. And so she's very much like that too. And it's funny because I feel like we're not around a lot of people all the time. So I feel like it's just a trait that she received from me, which is really beautiful to see.
wow. What a
Mhm.
magical thing to receive from mom. I think that's magical.
Thank you. Me too.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's wonderful being able to talk to anyone. Um, like without being in your head about it is so magical in itself. I'm sure you seeing her do that is like, oh, that's so cool. Like,
Hmm.
um, and when you were talking about like being in the head and your ways of getting out of being in the head, I immediately was thinking about these podcasts for me, like force me to like see what's going on in my body. So I want to thank you for like naming that because it's making me reflect on like, oh, when I'm in these podcasts, I notice I get a little like shaky, jittery. My stomach will get like butterflies. And when you were saying like, oh, it's your little girl who, might need something that in the past she got shamed for, or someone made fun of her, or maybe someone told her shut up, or you can't talk, or you're stupid, whatever it may be.
Hmm.
That's what shows up for me in this podcast. So I feel like this is like my way of, I don't know, getting resilient to speaking with people and being recorded and sharing it to the world. Like this is my practice, and I'm trying to grow through
Hmm.
this. So I just wanted to say thank you because you made me reflect on that, and I was like, oh, I realize I'm doing that. I'm kind of giving my inner child that love that she didn't have when
Exactly.
speaking to people. So thank you
Mhm.
for naming
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, no, exactly, and I love that for you, and same with me. I mean, I get nervous on these too. For some reason,
Mhm.
you brought a really calm energy for me though, so I feel really good in this podcast. I'm sure there'll be moments. But yeah, it's just all about getting out of your head, getting back into your body. And I think too, something that would be really good for the both of us since we experience this is just like after this podcast, do a little moment of tuning into like, where is that coming from? What is she needing? And maybe it's not even understanding exactly where, but it's
Mhm.
also just listening to the body in a sense of, if you don't know, listen to your intuition, right? So you can ask the question of, how old are you? And maybe she's like, oh, I'm 8. And then the moment you say that, maybe you think of, oh, when I was 8, I was in, I don't even know what grade that is, honestly, blank grade. And I stood up in front of class doing a show and tell, and all the kids laughed at me. That's where this is coming from, for me to speak my truth. That's scary for me. Okay, what would I need in that moment? And what could I say to myself? What would she need? You're magical, you're powerful, you got this. I see you. I know that this may be hard for you, but I'm here for you, and I'm always going to be here for you, and I always have been here for you. And I feel like telling yourself those words and just really soaking that in for yourself. It's like, wow, you release this part of you that needed that still. You release this little child in you that still needed it. And you're able to come back to your adult self, your higher self, your bad bitch energy self, and really speak from this more divine and higher wisdom.
Wow, that was beautifully said.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think going at the end of this, I think it's a great thing for me to do. And I'm going to definitely go through that practice and talk to what's going on, what's showing up. Why am I feeling like this in my mouth? Like I notice it in my mouth. Like I get like shaky in my
Jittery.
mouth, and I'm like, oh, that was my dog. Yeah, I get shaky. I'm like, who's breaking in? No.
Squirrel.
And that's another probably other thing
I
in
feel
my
you, girl.
body too. But yeah, so I'm definitely gonna take your advice on that, because I should definitely tune into that. And I always think about it when I'm on a podcast with someone. I'm like, oh, when I'm done, I'm gonna actually tune into that and like read it and not necessarily read it, but feel it, allow it to show up, allow me to feel it and express and get through it, work through it, move through it, breathe through it, whatever it may be. But then I always like get distracted and move on. So I'm gonna that's today's the day. Today's the day.
Well, I think the thing is too, right? At the end of the podcast, I'm normally, personally, this is for me, I'm normally feeling so good and on a high. So I'm not thinking about that thing that showed up for me. You're more so thinking about that experience that you're in now. And I think that's totally okay, but we can always come back to these things, right? We can always bring them back with us, just kind of either thinking about that moment that we were in, if it's not too much for you and if you feel safe around it, and then you can kind of go into there. And then doing things like this too, like you said, is literally taking tolerable steps. And the more you take tolerable steps, the more that feeling sensation that arises for you will go away. So you're doing exactly what you need to already as well.
Thank you. And you being here gave me that insight. Like it was there, like subconscious, but like you're bringing it forward. So I'm just grateful that your energy has helped me realize, oh, this is what I need to do. I forgot.
Well, I feel the same about you. So
thank you.
Thank you.
So recently you hosted a retreat.
Yes.
Tell us, how did that go? And will you be doing any more retreats? Because if anyone who's listening might want to go to your retreat. So I'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I hosted that with one of my good friends here who lives in Odessa, Texas as well. She also hosts other circles and retreats. I actually did a workshop at her first retreat, and then we decided to do one together. We did do it at my house. So it was just me and her and 4 other women that showed up, and we did a cacao ceremony. We did yoga, we did meditation, we did a sound bath. It was just a very beautiful and unique experience that we got to bring these women. And so, yeah, I loved every minute of it. I do want to continue to host more. I don't know when or what or any of those things, because this year has just not fully been what I thought it was going to be since I am pregnant. I don't really know how this pregnancy will go, if it's going to be the same as last time, if it's going to be different. I'm still in the very early stages. And so I'm just taking it day by day. But if I feel I have the energy and the calling to, I definitely want to. I think the next offers or anything I do host online will mainly be targeted towards mothers, since I've been going through this process of getting unexpectedly pregnant again, now on my second baby, but also just being in this completely different space than I was in my first pregnancy. Like, yes, it was unexpected again, but this time I'm just so much more confident as a mother, so much more confident that although I know it's going to knock me off my feet at times and I'm going to, fall hard and hit my face down, because that's what motherhood is, I'm also going to get back up even stronger than I ever have been, because the first time I had my child I have now, that's just it made me so much stronger than I ever been in my life in so many ways. You really transform from maiden to mother, maiden being, your pre-baby self, your pre-motherhood self. Just, you have more, I'm sure, as you know, right? You have more freedom. You're able to choose what you want to do in your day-to-day. Obviously, we have responsibilities, don't get me wrong, but you don't have to be on someone else's time. You don't have to always do what they are needing. Whereas motherhood, I think that was one of the scariest things for me, was to really let go of all the freedoms I had and understand that now I had bigger responsibilities and I couldn't be that person that I wanted to be anymore. And I think, I won't even lie, a big part of me too during that time was just someone who would drink and party and just have a good time. And I loved that section of my life. However, I love this one more. I do. I truly do. I mean, I know we both are on this sobriety journey together, and I know you also very much enjoy that, but it was just like me grasping onto the past so hard. I was so afraid of letting that past version of me go. I mean, I was constantly literally just doing things on a whim. Whatever I wanted, I would go to festivals, I would go to raves, I would go out with my friends all the time. And it was very much, I was in this space of, for the first time in my life, having a lot of friends. And I feel like I was going to lose that because I moved in a different city. I also moved somewhere where I didn't know anyone but my sister. So it was just a very hard time for me. And knowing that all the fun that I had there wasn't going to be the fun here. But I mean, although I'm not doing what I used to do, although that was fun for me, I'm still living such a great and beautiful life in different ways. And I just didn't think I was grasping that at the time. I didn't think I would live a good life because of all the responsibilities I would now have. But man, I truly love my life more than I ever have. So, yeah.
That's so beautiful. How do you think you got, like, what changed for you to realize that you love this life or this, motherhood?
Yeah. If I'm being honest, it took me a while because pregnancy brought on the worst anxiety of my life. Like, I'm a social butterfly, as we were talking, but during that time of my life, I didn't want to go to grocery stores. I didn't even want to go to the doctor's appointments. I didn't want to see anyone. I didn't want anyone to see me. It was very weird. It was nothing like I had ever experienced before because I am such an outgoing person. So it was just a complete 180. I would like go to the grocery stores, someone would talk to me and my face would turn completely red from embarrassment. It's like, why am I getting embarrassed just to check out in the line? Or like just anything like that. And it would even be like uncontrollable shakes of anxiety where I couldn't stop. And it was just like very different from what I ever experienced. And it wasn't until I had my baby girl and then I was in postpartum for, I would say, almost a year, closer to 2 years. Sorry, I'm going to move my headphones, but maybe a year and a half. And honestly, something that really helped me let go of that was the Triple E method, was actually getting into the embodiment coaching certification, because I was still dealing with it here and there. And don't get me wrong, it still comes up, but not ever as often as it was before. And so I really think that I forgot what your question was. What was your question initially?
How you came to realize that
This
you
is a better life.
loved this life,
Yeah.
and motherhood.
Yeah, I think I didn't for a while. I won't lie. It was very hard. Postpartum is very hard, especially as a mother with anxiety and depression. And I had a lot of rage. It was never towards my child, but it was just a lot of outbursts of anger. And, you know, now I know that it's healthy, but like hitting my bed and just getting so angry, screaming, crying, saying things I didn't mean at times, saying
Yeah.
things out of hurt. And I really didn't enjoy it during that time. It was very hard for me, but it wasn't until actually a little bit before that, I got into just a coaching course. It was all about confidence because I really felt like I had lost mine in motherhood and in pregnancy. And just being around other women who saw you, who were validating you and gave you the empathy you were needing throughout your journey, and learning all the new things that I had learned. And really just like having those containers of a coach as well, like being there with you, changed everything for me. I started to release a lot of the anxiety, but then I got into the embodiment coaching certification with you. And I really released a lot of that anxiety through the Triple E method. And I felt like once I started to do that, I started to step more into my dream life, coaching, taking up space in the online space. I started hosting retreats, doing in-person workshops, getting in front of people and just feeling really good about the work that I was doing. That helped me feel like, oh my gosh, it was never the location I lived in. It was never the people around me. It was never anything. It was what I was feeling internally that I was not letting go of. And that was kind of like a big realization for me, that like, I never hated this life. I just honestly didn't know how to work through all of the trauma and stored emotions that I was holding on to. So yeah, it took me a while, and it had nothing to do with my kid. I love my kids so much. I want anyone who's listening, maybe who doesn't understand that, I love my kid and I will never take that for granted. That was never on my mind. It was just a really hard time for me. And so it was hard for me to get out of that. But once I did, it was just so much clarity in how grateful I am for this life of mine and how blessed I really am without the fancy cars and the mansions and all of those things. Like, I am because I am. Like, I'm here on this earth and I'm grateful for that, you know? So yeah, it was a minute, but I got there.
I'm so happy you're there. I can tell. I
Thank you.
can feel the love for self and for others through
Mm.
you. And even just when we were doing even in the past, like when we were in our pods together and or just like meeting up and doing practice coaching together, and I could feel the love for you that you felt for you, and like you were like, I'm here for me, and I'm here to be in love with me again. And I don't know if you weren't in love with you
No,
again
you're right.
for
I
then,
wasn't.
but
Yeah. I
I
wanted
could
to say
feel
that I
that.
felt like I had hated myself, honestly. It was like
Mm,
I felt like I hated everything, but really it was just all of this yuck I had to pull out of my body. And the Triple E method, really going into your body, emoting, expressing, and embodying, really
yeah,
helped me feel those sensations that we were just talking about, right? Like the chattering in your chin. A lot for me, I get like a very tightness in my throat, like a rock is in my throat, or my chest will start to beat so fast and just like get
yeah.
super hot. But I worked through
Mm,
that, and I'm so thankful for each and every one of the women, including you, who were in the container, because you guys helped me move through that. And then knowing that that was going on for me, I just felt so much more inspired to help other women do the same.
yeah.
Because I knew that this worked, but you had to work it. And once I started to see it working, I literally was doing it every night and day whenever it was coming up for me. Like, I was doing it consistently. I'm not doing it as much as that anymore, but I'm still feeling, all the benefits from it. And I think that's beautiful.
So magical, powerful to hear your story. And it's very, I feel like people could see themselves in you and
Mhm.
with what you're saying. So I feel like telling your story is going to resonate with the right people. It resonates with me, and I'm not even like a mom. I feel like just hearing your story is powerful, and you don't even have to be exactly in your same exact scenario to feel like, oh, falling in love with me is going to shift my reality
Mhm.
like it did for you. And whatever circumstance you're in, motherhood, um, I don't know, whatever,
Life,
I don't,
yeah. No,
just
and I
life.
I feel you on that. I really thank you for saying that. I think I've been telling I realized this recently in my second pregnancy. It's like I've been telling my story, but I haven't been telling my whole story. Like, I've been telling people that I had really bad anxiety and I got over it, but I was missing such a giant part of that, which is motherhood. I wouldn't have ever had that intense anxiety if I didn't get pregnant unexpectedly and then have to move and just be going through all of these emotions and holding them and bottling them up, and then going through postpartum. Like, just motherhood in general is such a big part of my story that I was not telling. And so you saying that really validates where I've been at with this clarity. And so, yeah, thank you for saying that.
Well, thank you for just sharing, because I'm a mirror. I'm reflecting to you what maybe like a different version of something you didn't see, right?
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for sharing. On that note, I was thinking about how you just freely dance in the gym. I was going to read a question, but I was like, I don't like that question. I'm going to the question I thought of.
Uh-huh.
And it's the dancing so freely in the gym. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like when I first started seeing you doing that, I was triggered. I was like, how is she so confident? Like, I don't know what that's like. I don't know how to do that. So I want to be honest, I was triggered like in a way of like, I can't do like she
Yeah.
I can't do that. But I moved through it. I let the triple E method guide me through that. And it was like, oh, someone was telling me when I danced that like that's too much or that's not enough or whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
Chill, sit down, stop. And so I want to know your story on how you got there. How'd you
Mm-hmm.
get so confident dancing out in the open and at the gym and like no one's business because it's literally you being you. And
Mm.
that's awesome. So how did you get there?
Thank you. I'm really receiving that. And I would like to say that I recently saw you dance out in public with your friend, and I was a little triggered. I was like, damn, I don't have a friend who wants to go out in public with me and dance. Like, so I see you and you're doing it. But for me personally, I've been shuffling for a very long time. I think it's like 7 to 8 years now. And in the beginning, I mean, I wasn't very confident to do that. But over
Mm-hmm.
time, with just practice and going to festivals and just dancing in front of everybody there, I think it got easier for me to dance anywhere. And
Mm-hmm.
really, too, when I started to get, well, when I started to have a lot of anxiety within my pregnancy and stuff, I just made that one thing be dancing in the gym, because I also lived in an apartment. So I couldn't really dance in my apartment without being like making people mad. We lived in an RV before that. So it was like shake the RV. I couldn't really dance there either. So my only safe space was the gym. Now, what I
Mm.
did in those moments of pregnancy, because I've always danced publicly, but really in my heightened anxiety moments, is I reminded myself who I was doing it for. Was I doing it for the people around me, or was I doing it for myself? And each time it was
Mm.
me. And every time I would just let the music guide me. I'd play one of my favorite songs and let that be the first one that pushes me to start dancing in front of everybody. And then from there, it was just like, I stopped feeling the anxiety. It would go away the moment I would dance. And so it just got easier and easier. I still get nervous to this day when I'm, sometimes in the gym, I'm like, there's a lot of people around. I'm looking around me. I'm like, but I just remind myself each time, like, no, I want to do this. Like, this makes me feel good. I know how this makes me feel. This is for me. It's not for the people watching me. If someone wants to come up and say something to me, which, by the way, the only things someone has ever said to me in the gym about dancing has been, wow, you're really good at dancing. Like, just wanting to get to know me and
Aw.
complimenting me. And so those were also very beautiful affirmations for me to keep going too. And I think as you do it, if you're feeling encouraged to be dancing in the gym or wherever, public parks, whatever, I just want you to know the more you do it, the easier it will get. But also people will come up to you and validate your experience, and then you'll start to feel really good too. And no, I'm not saying seek external validation, but it's always a beautiful thing to get as well. And yeah, I think it's really just about taking the tolerable steps and always reminding yourself, who the fuck you're doing it for. You're doing it for you, your energy,
Mhm.
that bitch energy. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, that's tough. But it doesn't have to be, right? We can literally just tune into our body.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we doing this? Who is it for? And you're going to attract the right people to you in that moment and detract or send away the ones that
Mm-hmm.
aren't meant for you because they're not ready. They don't like that. And maybe they are. Like I was saying, I was triggered. Like maybe someone will be, and that's okay because that's like a reminder. Oh, what are you not looking at that's making you not able to dance or be yourself in public?
Mm-hmm.
Like what is it that we're ignoring or suppressing or like pushing down and not looking at head on that person has triggered? It's like I think it's a I think it's a great reflection to the whole world. Like everyone's
Mhm.
going to see their shit from you doing that or from me doing that or whoever.
Mhm.
Being fully themselves. Even like someone screaming on the street and I know they might be like on drugs or like out of, I don't want to say out of their mind because I don't like to say that, but like someone who's homeless. I feel like
Yeah.
someone who's screaming and they're like, I feel like even that is a reminder of like, what am,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
what
know
am
exactly what you're
I,
saying.
why am I so hard on how am I hard on myself in that way? Like, why don't I feel like I can scream in the street or move my body or throw my arms around? Obviously, if you're threatening someone, that's different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No harm. No, we don't want to hurt others. And even like words that are hurting, nothing like that. I just mean like someone fully being like loud themselves, big, seen, heard. How are we not allowing ourselves to be that? What
Mhm.
are we,
Mhm.
what are we bullying ourselves over, you know?
Mhm.
So I just
Mhm.
think it's beautiful to show up like yourself. Like it was truly beautiful for me, and so I want to say thank you.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, we could use you as an example too. You singing, you creating a podcast, you coaching. I know we do very similar things, but like even singing, like that's such a beautiful. You get on stages, you dance in front of people. Like, give yourself some credit too, because like that's amazing. You know, you're already doing that, just in a different space. And honestly, you're doing it more
So
than I
right.
am. Will I dance in front of a whole crowd? I don't know about all that. You know what I mean? So you're
Yeah.
doing amazing.
Oh
But
my
also,
gosh. Now,
it's
with
all
you
just a
saying that, thank you.
reflection too, in like the
Mhm.
good ways as well, right? It's like what you see in me is what I see in you. So if I think you're, a beautiful, well, you're a beautiful singer. I don't really know. I'm not a very good singer, so I don't know how that reflects. But I'm good in other ways, like I'm a great dancer or whatever. So it's so beautiful, and really, I think even when it comes to maybe you not receiving love from friends when you start to show up online or online spaces, it's like, yes, maybe they're a little jealous, but jealousy is just the direction of like you wanting something or you feeling you can't
Mhm.
have that thing. And so yeah, I just think it's beautiful reminder to know that we're just all reflections of one another all the time, and how someone acts towards you is not a reflection of you, it's the reflection of them essentially. um,
Mhm.
Unless you're, not a very good person, but I don't think anyone
Hurting,
listening to
yeah,
your
like
podcast.
hurting them.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, like take ownership for your shit, guys.
Yeah.
If
Uh-huh.
you're being hurting others purposefully,
That's on you.
petty, whatever it is,
Yeah.
okay, yes. And but I feel like that's tuning into your body. If you know, I'm coming from a loving,
Yes.
true, higher, that bitch energy, positive, loving, caring, giving self, that's not going to land. That's
Yeah.
going to bounce off of you. But if you subconsciously, even though you might not be saying, "Oh, I'm purposefully hurting them because I'm hurt or whatever." Um, I kind of lost my train of thought just then. Uh, it might be subconscious
Yeah.
that you're hurting someone, but maybe tuning into your body will bring that up for you and tell you the truth. Oh, it's
Mhm.
me. I need to look at that part. How am I hurting myself in that way? And that person wouldn't hurt me so badly if I wasn't also hurting.
Mm. Yes,
So I
exactly.
hope I said that right. I kind
No,
of
you
got
did. No, you
mixed
did.
up.
No, you
Okay.
did. It's just literally a reflection, right? And it's also like, where am I not giving that to myself? Where in my life, like if I'm not receiving a lot of trustworthy partners or trustworthy people around me, like friendships or whatever, it's also like, where am I not trusting myself? Where am I not holding trust? Or maybe even just like, I'm trying to think of a certain word. Just really being there for myself. Where am I not showing up for myself? And like that would show you kind of like where you're not being trustworthy towards yourself or where you don't trust yourself in doing something. And so yeah, it's beautiful. I love that we're all reflections of one another. I mean, you're definitely a reflection of me. We've talked about this within, the grieving process of both of our fathers. And I don't want to speak for you, but for me specifically, if you want to get into this now, are you
Let's
open
do
to
it.
that? Okay, awesome. Yeah, so I kind of grew up in a household where my dad was a alcoholic. He was a really great dad to his children, but he was abusive to his partner, my mother. They stayed
Mhm.
together for a very long time, and it wasn't until he was in and out of prison that he finally got sober. And at the end of, I want to say he was 7 years sober don't quote me on that. I know no one's quoting me on that, but at the end of that, he developed cancer, and he when he was doing good, 7 years sober, that's amazing. He gets cancer and he fights it for I think it was a few years, when they only told him he was going to live for like, I don't know, 6 months. So he beat it far enough, but
Yeah.
after that, he passed away, and I think that grief brought up a lot for me. Um, More than anything, I will say some of the beautiful moments was that it pushed me into living a more healthier lifestyle. I started to eat cleaner, go to the gym more often. I joined if any of you know what this is, but Herbalife. Do you know what it is? Have I told you this part of my story?
I think so, and I think I've heard of Herbalife.
Okay, yeah, it's like a MLM. So you kind of like do marketing, but really you can just join like their group classes, or you can sign up to be like a coach is kind of what they say, and sell products, and also like, help people with their nutrition or whatever. And so I ended up doing that, and that actually got me into personal development, self-help. I got into listening to kind of like podcasts on YouTube, but really they were just like inspirational like speeches. And I got really into that. And that
Mm-hmm.
drove me into just doing better in my life all around, getting more into, like dancing, and figuring out that that's something that was calling to me for a very long time. I also then went down the path of spirituality and just really dove into, healing myself and healing everything that my childhood brought to me, my dad being an
Mm.
alcoholic, and then him dying of cancer, which was so crazy. I was so young. I think I was 21 when he
Mhm.
passed away. And so that was just, I lost my dad at such a young age. Like, I was just a kid, and I really didn't
Yeah.
get the chances to, um, know him, because when you're
Mhm.
in those young years, you're partying, or you're just really focused. I was really focused on college. I was really focused on my schoolwork. So it wasn't like I wasn't spending a lot of time with my family. I was mainly focused on getting good grades and doing the things like academically that I needed to.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have a lot of time spent with my dad, like one-on-one. I really didn't get to know him. So I think that grief brought a lot of regret for me, a lot of regret of, I should have spent more time with him. Why didn't I take the time to go, go spend more time with him instead of going with my friends when I knew he was on quite literally his deathbed? Like, there was moments where I went with my friends instead. And, just that grief was just the hardest thing. And, it still comes up for me. I literally cried in my car this morning. A song came on, and it was pretty much saying like, um, I'll see you again, but not for a long time. And I just feel
Mm.
like it makes me so sad just thinking about it, because, like, that's the truth. Like, I'm hoping that when I pass away, I will also see my dad again, and I'll get to hug him, and I'll get to be with him. And spiritually, I do believe that I will see him again, but it
Yeah.
won't be for a long time. And he's missing all of these beautiful moments. My second pregnancy, me having a boy, me wanting to name my kid after him, him walking down the aisle. I'm recently engaged too, and so he's missing all of these moments. And I know he's looking down on us, and he's there, physically,
Yeah.
but I mean spiritually, but like not physically. And that's hard for
Right.
me to swallow, and that's still grief that I'm processing. And I'm sure you you can relate as well in some ways with that.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
Yeah, and so just the grieving process of all that, I will say something that really helped me, that I know I talked with you about this, Bianca, is that when we were learning the Triple E method, I really dove into that with the grief that I knew I was still holding. And
Yeah.
specifically because it was just right around whenever my dad's birthday comes, it is the hardest day for me. I can't
Mm.
help but to cry all day. It's one of those days. And even being with you too, I want to cry. I don't want to hold back tears, but also, it is what it is. But
I'm
um
with you. I'm with you.
I know. And I know you resonate so deeply with me too. Is like when we spoke about all of this, we were just both crying. And part of me felt bad because I was crying when you just recently lost your father. And I was like, I felt like I was
No.
taking up space, and I wasn't sure. So, but
No,
I
no,
also
no,
know.
no. It was a equal, it felt equally as good.
Okay. Good to know. Okay.
And right now too.
Good. I'm also going to give you space to talk about yours too. I would
No,
love to hear
it's
more about
okay.
how it's going for you. But so within the Triple E method, when I learned, I dove into it. And what I did was I created a whole playlist of songs my dad loved and that I remember growing up. And I asked my sisters, I asked my brother, I asked friends and family if they could send me any songs that they knew brought up memories of my dad. Either they listened with him or he was just always playing it in the car. He loved like rock. And so I listened to the whole playlist. I raged so hard. I was screaming, yelling, punching and hitting my bed, really releasing all of this heaviness that I was feeling and crying, obviously, endlessly. I was crying a lot. But what I realized too within the playlist was like, I was starting to understand him on a deeper level. I feel like we really like songs that speak to us lyrically or just bass or, beats, whatever. But I started to understand him like I never understood him before. Just like
Wow.
different songs, right? It made me understand that he had a lot of rage too, and he had a lot of anger that he suppressed and he kept down. It wasn't until he would drink that then he would have these outbursts. And he didn't need to tell me that. But it was because I sat there and I tried to get to know him in those moments and I now feel like I know him deeper than I don't know if I ever would have known him if he was here that way. So it's a beautiful thing to do. I definitely recommend if you feel you are ready for it, because it has been, I think, actually like 7 years now since my dad passed away, that I'm able to do this and hold that space for myself. But if you're not ready for that, I would say play one song and then maybe see what that brings up for you. And then you could do more and more. You don't have to go as hard as I did. But I really think that doing that helped me release so much of the grief that I was carrying. So much. I felt so much lighter. I felt so much more free. I felt like I could start showing up and fully telling my story online. I felt like I could just be this new version of myself because I wasn't carrying all of that grief and sadness anymore.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just a beautiful moment. I know I talked to you about that. Have you tried that or anything yet?
The like music, like
Uh-huh.
dancing to it or raging or
Mm-hmm.
crying, whatever it may be,
Mm-hmm.
moving, breathing. What's funny when you were talking about the music thing is when we were in the course, I did an embodiment practice that was focused towards my dad and our relationship, and he was still alive. And I was doing the dance like to get closer to him because I knew that while he was here, I would try really hard to be close to him, talk to him about different things than politics, because that's what at the end was all he was talking about. And it was very harmful. So I was like, well, if face to face isn't working, I started doing an embodiment practice of getting close to my dad. And I realized I'm going to get sad, or I'm going to cry. But when I was doing that, I was grieving him before he was gone. It's like I knew subconsciously that he was letting go. And I know it sounds crazy, but I think when you tap in to source, goddess, consciousness, Christ consciousness, whatever you call it, I don't even know what I call it. I'm calling it all those things. There's like there's like a realization that comes to you, and all the signs were my dad is ready to go. Like, even though we didn't even know he was sick, we didn't know, but for a long time coming, he was ready to let go, and it just didn't happen until it happened, right? But so I actually pre-grieved my dad, which I don't think I'd be so far along in my grieving. I don't want to say far along because grieving looks different for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
No,
but
and I'm going to grieve
you've
forever.
literally what I'm perceiving from you online is that you're handling it really, really well. I don't think I would be able to show up online as quickly as you did, but I think you've been very open about everything you've been experiencing too. So I know that has been also helpful. But yeah,
Yeah.
like I see you, and I do feel like you are far along in your grieving, right? Like whatever that means, right? But
Yeah, and it's different for everyone. There's no,
yeah.
like, better way
Yeah.
of grieving.
Mhm.
I just think my ability to do these podcasts, post, talk, smile, laugh, dance is because I was pre-grieving, because I was directly in contact with source. And I don't, some
That's
people might think
powerful.
that's
No, I believe
woo-woo.
you. I believe
Okay.
you.
I'm like that. The triple E method got me there, and embodiment in general, being in tune with my body, really diving deep and listening and letting all of it speak to me. Subconscious, body, divine, source, like everything was just like, oh, like this is happening.
Mhm.
And I didn't know when. I had no clue it was going to be that soon. So when it happened, I don't know. I mean, of course I was devastated. I was sad. I did the whole thing where it's like, perfect dad here. He
Mhm.
was everyone, like when people die at funerals. I'm not trying to generalize
Nope.
death, but
Mhm.
because every death is different, every person, every soul, every body is literally different. But I notice there's a pattern with people that lose someone is like, we don't want to ever say they were wrong in any way because we
Mhm.
just lost them. And that's saying they're wrong is like wrong in itself.
Mhm.
Nothing
Mhm.
inherently is bad. I truly
Yeah.
believe that now I understand all the things that I labeled as bad when it connects to my dad was actually not bad at all. It was exactly what I needed. It was exactly what we both needed.
Mhm.
It was just what was, just is. And so I don't think I'd be here today if it wasn't for tuning into my body and having my tools and practices and dancing and crying and raging with you.
Mhm.
And there's so many, yeah, and I'm getting a little shaky talking about it because it is so powerful. And I feel
Mhm.
almost like, I don't know, there's something that being powerful and talking about the power gives me slight anxiety that I do need to work on with myself.
Mhm.
Um, but without my tools, I don't know how I'd be here talking to you about it without like being like, I gotta go, like I'm out of here, running away.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. I think you are also very much equipped with this powerful work, whereas like, you're able to move through the grief a little more easier than a lot of people would be.
Mm.
I also wanted to ask you, just because I'm curious about this, when you were receiving the downloads, was it like direct downloads of like your dad's gonna pass away, or was it just like start grieving now? Like what was coming through for you there?
Grieve now. And I almost feel like I was already grieving. Well, I was
Mhm.
pre-grieving. Like I didn't start grieving till that moment that I'm
Mhm.
telling you about when I was dancing. I was actually, what the dance was holding my dad's hands and like
Mhm.
dancing together. And and actually the embodiment practice was meant to be for you lost someone. But I don't know what
Oh,
drew me to doing that because I didn't lose him. But
mhm.
I did subconsciously, I think, feel like because he was letting go, he was in the transition period of like, I'm done here. I knew that. Like my body, my heart, my soul knew that.
Mhm.
And that's what drew me to click that video, which was an embodiment practice that was grieving, an embodiment practice of grieving. And, or it was like, I forgot what the title was. It didn't say grieve, but it was like, I forget. I have to find it and send it to you. But
Yeah, I would love to do it actually.
yeah, it was powerful. I cried a lot. I felt like I was, because the video was a girl like on the beach, I believe.
Mhm.
I felt like I was there with her,
Mm.
but with my dad. Like she was my dad and we were holding hands. And which was crazy to me. And I literally think it was just like, start grieving now. It's going to happen. And it's already kind of happened. Like, I think I'm reading this book, Conversations with God,
Mm.
slowly. It's taken me a long time for some reason. Because sitting still and reading or listening, because I'm trying to do both at the same time, I have the book and the audiobook, has been more difficult lately. Not sure why. After my dad died, I'm unable to sit with a book as long. But this book talks about how the soul decides, like it might be the second they die, or it might be like years they've been thinking about it, but it's so subconscious that they think that they don't want to die. So they might tell people like, no, I don't want to die, I want to live. But like they've actually been preparing themselves. And I feel like that was what was being shown to me in that embodiment practice, was the signs, the subconscious messages from my dad that it's time for me to go and my time here is almost to an end. And I think I've told you about this. I've tried seeing him more, connecting with him more in the end. And it just, it wasn't, I had to already kind of let that go. And I realized that we're not going to be the image of what I think of me and my dad being from when I was a kid. That's not who we are. That's not what it's going to be. And that's okay. And I've accepted that. And when you were talking about, let's see, I lost my train of thought again because I'm like all anxious talking about it. But you talked about the music with your dad and getting closer to him. I relate to that. The songs speak to me and speak to him in what he was going through in his subconscious and his journey. And I feel like I couldn't be this close to him without him being gone.
Yeah, I feel that. That makes me like, I know I kind of said that already, but hearing it from you is almost like, I don't know, it sent chills up and down me. So I hear you and I see you. And I was also going to just kind of touch on that. Maybe you were also grieving just the version of him that you thought you knew, And I think
Absolutely.
I also like, you also have to grieve that too. And, more things have come up for me through this grieving process too. It's just like, I mean, this is personal, but I'm gonna share it. Like sometimes I definitely struggle with my mother wound that I have with my mom. It's like I just have so much anger around her and I'm still processing that. And I don't really understand completely why. I do, but I don't, right? It's like I know some things, but then it's like, okay, why can't I let this go? But then there's moments where I'm just like, have this immense guilt. I will be honest about that. Guilt about how I treat her sometimes because how my dad treated her for so long, And that makes me really sad because she's the one that had to endure more of the trauma than we did. And stuff that I know she doesn't go to therapy or anything like that. So I don't really know how she's healing it per se, but things that I know she hasn't healed. And I think there's also this line of giving people grace and understanding that they're just like unhealed little children walking around on this earth, and also knowing that their behaviors and their how they treat you is also like not excusable, So
Absolutely.
So it's just kind of a weird line that I walk there with my mom, but that I definitely have these like big moments where I'm like, damn, like my mom, I feel for her and how my dad treated her. And, that version of him, I also have to grieve as well. I also have to grieve that version of my mother. My mom changed completely once my dad passed away. I feel like she kind of ran away from the problem and not tried to face it. And she showed up as much as she could as a mother for her 3 children. However, it was, I felt like I was more so consoling her than she was consoling me, and I lost my dad too, but I also see that there's levels to that because we know our partners deeper than our children are going to know our partners. You know what I mean? So it's like you're losing your best friend that you have been with for so long before your children. That has to be hard to process. And I see that and I know that and I feel that for her. So I do give her grace in that. And then I also feel like, okay, but like, where were you when I was feeling this? Where were you?
Yeah.
Where are you to this day when I feel this? Anyway, not to go down my mom rabbit hole, but but yeah, it's grief is freaking crazy, bro. It's really crazy.
Agreed.
And I think when you were talking about how you felt really connected to God, source, universe, you're like in this other realm when you're doing embodiment work, when you're really diving into your body and listening to what it is communicating with you, because you are connected to source, and source doesn't live on a timeline. Their timeline is all of the timelines live together. So you really receiving that download that your dad, it was time to grieve your dad. I 100% believe you. Like, I feel you on that. Like, I believe that can be a possibility for anyone and everyone who really wants to be connected in a higher realm. And so, yeah, that's beautiful. You've never shared that with me, and thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. And to your mom, speaking to that, like, I feel like they were connected. We talk about the trauma we experienced from our parents, and we talked about how our dads both were alcoholics, and we saw a physical, emotional abuse as children. Our moms also are a part of that choice of the abuse. I mean, not saying it's excusable for someone to hurt someone and blame the person that's getting hurt.
Yeah.
But there's also something inside of the person that's allowing that, right? That's allowing that type of treatment in their home. So I think that what your anger, your rage, I mean, I think going straight to the source and feeling it fully, I need to do that with my mom as well. I feel I can relate with you at that. We can relate. We are totally a mirror to each other. It's crazy because when I first lost my dad and I talked to you about it, and you told me all the things, I was like, wait, like both of our parents were this and that, and we went through that like similarly. It's crazy to hear, and it's kind of sad. It's sad and beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like both. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm proud of us both because look at us. We're sitting here today talking about it rather than running away from what probably people told us to run away and never speak of it. And we're like, no, this is our truth. We saw this. We experienced this. It hurts. It makes us angry. We're literally pissed off. And that's okay. And we're not hurting others with our rage. We're expressing, we're allowing, we're embodying, we're emoting, we're alchemizing the feelings, the rage, the sadness, the pain, the trauma, whatever, name your thing here. And we're turning it into healing, not just for me and you together here in this bubble we're in right now, but we're sharing this. We're letting people fully see us and not hide it, not sugarcoat it, not even try to make people feel bad for us. It's like, no, me and you, what we're going through, this is a human thing. This is what many other humans also go through. And it's our own experience too. And that's okay. And that to me somehow brings me to like joy and enlightenment. And I just want to share and keep sharing. And that helps me on my grieving as well. It's like, well, I could just hold it in and heal by myself, but like healing and then sharing that healing is like even more, brings me so much joy. I don't know. It's crazy. So
that was beautifully said. It really was. I think you said that perfectly, honestly, if perfect is even thing, you know what I mean? That was so beautiful. Exactly, right? Like, it is a really sad story looking from the outside looking in, but like for us, it's an empowering story. It's powerful. We feel good about it. And not only are we healing by like speaking to other people about it, us just healing ourselves heals everyone else who we're connected to. Like, my child is now not going to have to endure everything that I did as a child. And I really broke that cycle with my partner too. Obviously we bicker, but we don't argue like that. We don't fight. We don't drink. He drinks a little bit, but like I don't. And I knew that like drinking in a sense was like, it almost brought out this part of me that reminded me of my father. And so that's why I really stopped. And I kept seeing that over and over again. And although it's fun and great, I had this deeper calling to stop. And I'm grateful that I am, because my children, I'm having another one, like my children need that, and they need nervous system regulation tools, and they need embodiment to really go about their life. If we would have learned this when we were children, we wouldn't be caring so much that we are now. And so, yeah, we're just really doing the work, whether we're speaking about it through podcasts or online, but really just like affecting the people next to you. Because I'm healing
Mm-hmm.
myself, I'm a better person for everyone around. And when you're regulated, you co-regulate with the people around you. That's why, I don't know, if you ever get around your partner and then you just feel like, oh my gosh, this feels so good. Like you feel like this release and relief. And that's because your partner regulates you or you
Yeah.
regulate them. And so, yeah, we're really doing this beautiful, beautiful work. And I'm really, really proud of both of us.
Thank you for naming that. And I'm going to cry.
It's okay to cry.
Yes. And it is okay to cry. And I
Mhm.
think the only reason I would hold it back is because then I can't speak. And I
Mhm. I
really
feel
want to
that.
get that. I
Yeah.
want to get that out. And I want to be very transparent that when if I decided to let the tears flow, and I will when we get off the recording, is if I let them flow now, it might cut off what we're co-creating here together.
Mhm. I feel you on that.
And yeah, and I think it's great. Like, don't cut off your tears if you don't have to.
Yeah.
Don't suppress the feelings, and that's not necessarily what I'm doing when I don't cry, like blast off
Yeah, because you're gonna
in
go
our
back to
culture.
it. You're gonna go
Yes,
back to it. Exactly. I think that's the point. And that's the whole thing with embodiment and feeling your emotions.
yes,
Like you can't always feel every single emotion at every second, but you
yeah,
can always come back to it and you can release it in different ways. So yeah, I feel
yes.
you.
My therapist, I was trying to tell him, like, I just want to be able to feel anywhere, and he was like, well, if you're constantly flowing out, like, it's not like you need a safe container for that.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
it doesn't have to be on all the time, because then you're just going to be drained. You're going to be exhausted. You're going to be overwhelmed with the feelings. Like, rather than, okay, I'm going to save this and I'm going to do this when I feel ready.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
that's okay. And it's not like you have to just cry or rage wherever you are, because that could be unsafe
Yeah.
in those moments. Like, you're driving, or you need to, you're being a parent, like, you need to, like, watch your child. And if you go over here and rage and your child's like gonna get hurt, it's like, well, okay, that's not a safe container. So you have to pick the moments, pick and choose. And I think that's okay. And I know that's okay.
Mhm.
um
Exactly.
yeah. But with the back to, like, the parenthood thing and the
Mhm.
grieving of your dad and the rage towards mom, how do you notice your parenting is different because of this work? Like, I know you kind of touched on it, but maybe there's examples of, like, oh, like, when I did this as a kid, I was yelled at, but now I allow my baby to do this, and I express this. Like, what are some examples that you notice in your parenting that you could share?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a perfect example. I will say too, I'm not perfect. I am human. I am working through this. This is my
Yes.
first time being a mother. I can't catch every single trigger. Sometimes it triggers me so quickly that, my nervous system acts before I do. It's always protecting us. And so, um, sometimes I will say that's enough when then I'll backtrack and be like, so this is a prime example. I'll be like, that's enough. That's enough. No more. Right.
Mhm.
If I feel like she's crying for no reason, when in reality, to them, it is a reason. It's a big reason. And we just don't fully understand that. But then I will backtrack and be like, baby, I'm so sorry. Mommy yelled at you. I was just overwhelmed and frustrated. Whereas I would never get that. I would just get, that's enough, stop crying, you're a crybaby or whatever, right? Whereas this time, if I can't hold that space in that moment, I am then backtracking immediately and being like, I'm sorry for not holding that space for you. Obviously, I don't say it that way, but I'm sorry, mommy yelled. Like she
Yeah.
just got really frustrated and overwhelmed. She was cooking and you tried to grab her or whatever. So I think it's really just about owning up to your shit,
Mm.
and owning up to like the things that you see weren't helpful as a child for you, you know?
Mhm.
I mean, I know for sure being called a brat growing up made me feel like if I ever expressed my emotions, crying specifically or screaming, then I wasn't worthy enough of love or wasn't enough. And so it's just very important for us to kind of just give our children what they're needing, even if it upsets us in moments, and backtrack and tell them sorry and own up to your mistakes too. We are not perfect. And I think a lot of the time in my childhood as well, it's just like you always had to see your parents as elders and you needed to respect them, when in reality, we're all just fucking human. We're all just trying to be the best each day. And so, yeah, that's one way. Another way is kind of what you said as well. I will give her more space. If I'm not feeling super triggered and I have the space to hold, I'll let her throw her tantrum on the ground. And when she's done, I'll be there for her. And I just remind her, like, or I'll make sure to validate her and her experience. I see that's really frustrating for you. I know, I'm here for you. Things like that. And even when they're throwing the tantrum, just sitting next to them and allowing them to rage. They're doing their own type of rage, right? Screaming, kicking, yelling, throwing their head back on the ground, whatever, like just holding that space and then giving them a hug after if they're open to it, or just putting your hand on their heart, or whatever it is that you can do to make them feel safe in those moments. And so, yeah, those are the probably the few couple of examples I can give you right on the top of my head.
Kids are magical.
They are.
I did not always think that. Like I was like, ugh, stay away from me at some point.
I feel you. I didn't
like
want kids.
Early 20s.
I didn't even want kids, girl. I got unexpectedly pregnant and now I love them so much. I'm like, give me your baby.
Oh, I know. I love kids. Not sure if I'll be a mom, but that's another thing. But
everyone has their own choice on that. I respect
it.
It's hard. It's hard work. It really is. You're on 24/7, but
it's
also
I can see it from my sister, and I have nieces and nephews, but I catch myself when I was asking you about how you respond in the new ways that in the ways that you might have been shut down for, and you're like, okay, well, I can hold that space for my daughter and now your son eventually. So exciting.
It is.
Congrats, by the way. I didn't get to say that. I want to name that I'm so happy for you, for your pregnancy, and congrats on your engagement.
Thank you.
So exciting. Big, big, big things. And when you talked about that with your dad, I got really emotional because I was like, oh yeah, I'm not married either. And so I could relate. There's so many things that when you say things, I'm like, oh my God, I can relate with you so much on that. The brat thing, the dad, the marriage, all of it.
Name it all.
Yeah, like future kids, if I decide to have them. All of that. I'm with you in my own perspective, but I can relate. And shoot, what was my brain doing today? I had something that I was going to say just then.
You're telling me congratulations.
Congrats.
Before that, you were talking about your niece and nephew and how you...
Yes. Mm-hmm. So I catch myself saying things that I was told as a kid to them sometimes. Or even my boyfriends. We're practically married, so husband, boyfriend. Yeah. But we want to have a wedding. But anyway, what I'm getting at is nieces and nephews. Like, for example, one of the nieces didn't want to sit next to grandpa because, I don't know, kids have their own decisions and their own things, or didn't want to hug grandpa goodbye or whatever it was. And I caught myself saying, no, like, you respect your grandpa. Like, pretty much telling her she has no say over her own body, which I was like, oh, shoot, like, I forgot. Like, that's not right to tell, first of all, any little boy or girl, any gender, to like get over it and not do what they don't want to do. Like, if they don't want to hug someone, they don't necessarily have to. I don't think, and if the adult gets offended by it, that's the adult's own experience.
Trigger. Yeah. That's about boundaries, holding boundaries for yourself, right? I am so bad at that. I will admit to that. I'm still working on it. It's hard because I grew up in such a loving household that like hugging and kissing was just so normal. And so now I'm trying to teach her that she doesn't have to if she doesn't want to, even with her dad and me, like, okay, give her personal space, or what do I always say then? Respect her boundaries, I make sure to say that. Now my sister will make fun of me for saying it about her, but I'm like, I'm serious. Respect her boundaries. If she doesn't want to hug you, she doesn't want to do any of that, she doesn't have to. But then I have moments where I'm grabbing her if she doesn't even want to kiss me, and I'm kissing her. So I'm like, what am I really teaching her there? It's a crazy balance. And I will say with my nieces and nephews, before I knew this work, I actually was way more patient with them than I am my own daughter. And I really think because my daughter is like a direct reflection of me, whereas my nieces and nephews were like, I was always spending time with them here and there so I could hold the space more better, whereas I'm with my kid 24/7. So holding space 24/7 is hard, and exactly, we're human, we're going to have those triggers, and that's okay too.
Absolutely. Aunthood, motherhood.
Yeah.
Like we can't be perfect at all times in our lives in general, no matter what title you give us, no matter what sister, mom, friend, aunt, whatever it may be. Yeah, like being a friend. Sometimes I get it wrong, and that's okay.
Same.
Like being a spiritual goddess queen, that bitch doesn't mean perfect.
Exactly.
It means flaws and all.
Mm-hmm.
And we love all of it, and we face it, and we see it. And you are giving me that reminder today.
You're giving me that reminder too. So
mirrors. We're just bouncing.
I love it.
Well, I think that we're pretty much at time, and I think that was such a lovely conversation that this is a great time to wrap it up and say thank you so much for being here on my podcast. And I feel like it was just a beautiful conversation, probably more flowy conversation of an interview than I've ever experienced. So I want to say thank you. Not to compare, because everything is great. All the other ones are great, perfect. I love them. But me and
you love my mom.
Just
kidding. I'm just kidding.
But me and you have the history. We've talked a lot. We've been in coaching practicing coaching together a lot. So I feel like there's a friendship bond here.
Yeah, 100%.
So I want to say thank you for that and allowing me to be myself, and also reminding me that I'm allowed to be myself. Always.
always I'm always here to hold that space for you, and I just really appreciate you asking me to come on. I love this conversation as well. It was very flowy, and I think you make me comfortable, and we've had so many vulnerable moments together that it's easy for me to speak from my heart and really get out of my head. So thank you as well. Thank you for having me on. I will come on any other time that you need me to.
Yeah, I would love to continue the topic of I keep losing my train of thought today, but when we were talking about parenting and whatever, we'll talk about, there's so much to talk about.
Yeah, there is.
That we have time and we can join back in. I will definitely invite you back in the future. But where can the followers, listeners find you? How do you want them to reach out?
Yes. So first and foremost, I wanted to say though, and I would love to have you on my podcast. So that's one way you can find me. Mystic Mamas. I co-host with my best friend, Danielle. You can find me there on all platforms, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to your podcast. You can also find me at Dakota.Blackstone on Instagram and TikTok. I also have a Facebook if you want to find me there. But yeah, those are the main spaces. You can also go to my website. I have a free embodiment practice that I'll guide you through in audio that you can download for free. And there's a couple free other things you can do there. You can also work with me one-on-one as a coach in a container. And yeah, that's where you can find me.
Thank you. Now everyone go follow, like, subscribe, listen. And to Dakota, because she's so lovely and I just love having her. And everybody, thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in and joining us on the magic that we created here on this episode. Be sure to follow and check out their work. If you loved this conversation, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs this energy today. Thank you for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.
Ain't nobody seen a bitch like me. I'ma come up on ya. Ain't nobody warned ya about a bitch.